Hello, friends, ladies and gentlemen, everybody coming on to listen. Today is March 8th. This is the Spot, episode 2 of the podcast here. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, Yeezy Yon. I'm here with
And Mighty Young.
Yeet Yeet and out here. Right now, it's 8:35 p.m. out here on the West Coast chilling. How's your day going?
Shit, man. So far, so good, bro. Just enjoying this cold ass weather, you know?
I was
You
gonna
know?
say, same old shit. That's the
Yeah.
standard.
I mean, it was a little warmer today, but still, spring's starting to creep up on us, so hopefully it gets way warmer than it is now within the next few weeks. That's going to be a sight to see.
Yeah, in the next 2 days, we definitely have that. Was it I'm blanking right now. Daylight savings. Is that when we gain an hour or lose an hour?
Is
I'm
that going
blank.
to be this week? This weekend?
That's in 2 days, I think. It was creeping, like you said, it was creeping up on us. Hold on. Let
So we're
me
about to go forward an hour, right?
let me see. Daylight savings time. Yes,
Because
referred
in the
to.
fall time, we went back an hour. Am I correct? Back
Do
in
we
the fall?
hold on? Clocks fall back on November 3rd. Okay, so we actually gain an hour
Yeah,
going
so
forward.
we go
Yeah.
forward.
Wow, I feel like it should be just common knowledge, but even then, I'm just like, not even fully aware. But
So March 10th, we're gonna go forward.
allegedly,
Starting
I just Googled that, and that's what Google told me. So I'm gonna go with that said, but you never know, right? Anything can
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, no, because I remember the only reason why I'm asking is because I remember I went backwards in November.
Was it backwards? All I know is it gets darker in the winter and it gets brighter in the spring and summer. That's all that
Yes.
matters, I feel. But anywho, today here we're gonna cover the BMF. If you don't know that show, it's Black Mafia Family. We're kind of just starting on season 3, episode 2 with recap. So we are assuming you are aware what this show is about. It is Black Mafia Family, main cast Meech and Terry. And Mighty, you know what? You're better at explaining kind of like the background logistics of BMF. Can you spit to these people what it is?
Well, y'all, Black Mafia Family is a show about two brothers, Demetrius and Terry Flannery, and they are part of an enterprise, of selling that thing, selling.
Cocaine.
Yeah, what he said. And it's just about just protecting their family, trying to just trying to better themselves, trying to invest in a legit life one day.
Typical
And
story, just making ends meet, seeing their parents struggling, essentially. Go on, didn't mean to cut you off there.
yeah, so pretty much we're just gonna discuss what happened in season 3, episode 2. So you know one thing we could get started about this episode is the way the way those Colombian dudes came to the house and talked to Meech's parents.
Great hold
That shit
up,
was
like
good.
Charles with the hammer, bro. Let's shout out to Charles, bro. He's standing on business right there. Man was ready to bash his brains in. And then you see the guy with the ponytail. I don't think we got his name yet, but he's just walking away, and you can clearly see the strap. Was it him with the strap, or was it
It was Loco.
the loco with the strap? Yeah, he just laughed and walked away. It's like, huh, huh. It's like I respect it though. And just walks away. And I'm just like, yo, that's when you know when you saw that happen, you knew Charles was fed up at that moment.
Literally.
Like he's had enough of you know the gangsters and all that stuff, all people Meech Terry run into, have caused trouble with, pull up on them and their family. That now it's like, yo, really? Like, come on! I thought we had a break from all this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, especially with Meech leaving to Atlanta, but especially after Markeisha getting shot, I feel like they should still be on guard with anything that's going on in Detroit, specifically. But the thing about that is, it's just funny how it all turned out. That this whole time that they were just trying to, do business with him, which
Exactly, bro. They just want to do business. Like, hey, we're friendly. And I wanted to touch before we get to the business part of it. Yeah, Markeisha, do you think she's doing Terry dirty by kind of saying, "Sorry, you gotta go"? Like,
I mean, we've seen a lot of this in the earlier seasons, especially season 2. How every time something real would happen, she would always play him to the left. Like, oh yeah, you're a kid. Oh yeah, we're not
she
ready for a
do that
relationship.
though. Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, I mean, we already know eventually that that's not going to be the case, but she's just playing with him as of right now. But I feel like, after getting shot, it's probably appropriate for them to be separate for now, until they're ready, I guess. But it's just one of those things, because like Markeisha's older than Terry, so I feel like on a level of just understanding each other,
So
it's
she's the person who's got to see age is like, oh yeah, you're not in my age group, so I guess you're not up to par with me. Like,
yeah. I feel like after she got shot, she's looking at the situation like he's a kid. This is grown people business. Like, there's no way that he's gonna be able to survive this relationship because of maybe it's because of how young he is. Compared to her.
true. I mean, if we're going off, situational relationship things as well. Again, we got Lucille and Dr. Maurice.
Oh yeah, I believe they were together in high school, college.
Doctor, yeah, back in the day, he's a successful. I don't know if successful, but he's a doctor, so he's got to be successful some way. Um, he's there, and he. I can't get the quote, but he said something like, Charles got you. You're the one who
He
got
said
away.
he said Charles, you're the one that got away, but Charles something about yeah, Charles stole you or something like that. But he said it in a playful way.
Yeah, no, it was one. It wasn't like a grimace, like grim, negative way. It was definitely just more like a fairy tale type of vibe. And at this point, Lucille, like the past two seasons, she's gone through it. You know what I mean? As a wife, and with Meech and Terry as her kids and just everything that she's been going through, this is her time to shine. I think this is her season. I think this is a moment to kind of glow up and be the pretty little flower that she's always been.
Yeah,
She deserves it.
Lucille is always one of those characters that's gonna blossom at one point, especially with how involved she is with her son's lives, especially with like she's the vessel of the family, you know?
Not holding it together. She's the glue, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
And we all saw Nicole, she had a little boo thing, the name of Breeze.
But Breeze, shout out if you know it. If you know Breeze,
if
power.
if you know, you know.
But no Breeze though. Yeah, that
If
I think he's gonna play I mean, obviously, characters when they kind of hone in on one episode and they don't like give a resolution to their character, they're definitely gonna be in more episodes. Maybe a main one. You know what I mean? Like how, well, not like how. I guess they're just a constant recurring character. You know what I mean? Like they're just there consistently on the show, um, playing like not an antagonist role, but tagging along with the protagonist, which is Nicole. You know what I mean? So I think Breeze and Nicole, we're gonna see a lot of that, as well as maybe some Charles interference, because man, daughter type thing.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I mean, as of right now, no, it seems like Lucille's the one that's worried for Nicole's well-being when she should be the
Yeah,
one that's worried for herself right now because it looks like she's fallen under the whelm of, her high school sweetheart.
I think she's just trying to save Nicole, not save her, but like if you look at Meech and Terry, for example, and their lifestyle and what they've done. Not saying Nicole would sell drugs, do anything, but the sexual activity that Meech and Terry been through per se, with having baby mamas and stuff, that kind of she just wants to negate that with Nicole. I feel, and like trying to make sure that hey yo, school first, church, family, all that, boys last. You know what I mean? Like she's trying to make sure everything's proper order, at least with one child, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair statement to make regarding how her other two sons, turned out. Yeah, I feel like
Hey, they ain't bad too. As we'll get into Meech's thing right now, they ain't doing bad, especially Terry.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm saying.
but yeah,
Like I feel like with her, it's like, like like Lucille's just trying to make sure that there's one, like you said, there's one kid in the family that's
that's it.
navigating through the right,
Yeah,
navigating through the right path is, the right path, or the righteous path, as they say.
exactly, exactly. And yeah, no, getting to it though. As we were saying earlier, Meech basically meeting the plug. I think what's his name, Santiago. Was that who he was supposed to meet?
That's who he was supposed to meet up with. Yes,
Right, and then
because what's his name went to got booked. Cena, that's his name.
yeah, okay, that's what we that. see these names are coming out left and right. You gotta rewatch the episode twice or something like that to get everything
Yeah,
down.
Cena was introduced in season 2.
They're going to meet Santiago. Then they see the MK bodies. It's these black dudes that
Yeah,
are
the
getting
MKs,
down.
but they met up with Loco instead, and Loco, they thought Loco was gonna do something to them.
No,
I thought he was gonna try to kill him as well, but he was just looking for him to do business. But it was just good how Loco and his homie were able to help Meech while he was in a dire situation. So hopefully that relationship grows.
no. When it comes to like, I love Loco's introduction just with the whole smoking while the whole shooting's going. That's probably the best part. You know what I mean? Because like
His demeanor was so calm.
he's used to it, or he knew he was gonna handle it, or these guys are beneath him. You know what I mean? The MKs are so beneath him. Like remember the Colombians when they took care of him? They just immediately they dapped each other up. They're like, yeah, nice job. Like,
Yeah,
like
literally. Like as
it's
soon as they
invested
seen
in
Meech,
that.
they said Dimitri. Hey, I was like, oh, okay. So this is where he find, he locks in another, another plug, and that way,
Mhm.
the business of BMF stands.
Exactly. And like I said, the plug, he's heard of, the Mitri, as he says. He's heard of Meech, and he knows what he's about, his business. And I believe, was it Ty Washington? He was Ty
Ty
Washington's plug.
Washington, yep, Ty
Yeah,
Washington.
R.I.P. Ty Washington. But yeah, he was Ty Washington's plug. And yeah, basically he wanted to do business with Meech and expand, and he has a supply. Meech has I believe, demand and the marketing. So if he's able to do that, why not? Um, and then we want to touch on another subject too, just real quick while we divert from Atlanta a little bit to Terry. Terry's situation, he's in a tight spot. He's basically trying to find Blow, like connect, and he finds one in Henrietta. It's this lesbian chick. She was playing poker, right? And then she
He was playing cards, I believe.
I remember the guy. The guy was like talking shit to her, and she was like, she was giving detail. I won't go into it, but she's giving graphic detail about his home and his girl and her private parts and whatnot. And let's just say the man got fucked up right after. So there's that. But yeah, Henrietta was trying to sell, what was it, stepped on shit basically to Terry for 28, 26K. I don't know. So a high amount that Terry did not like. Again, we're not drug dealers here on the spot, so we don't know if these prices are good or bad. We just know that Terry did not like the prices, and they had a deal, right? Allegedly.
Not on paper, but they came to an agreement that he would cop for 28 a key. The average shit that she had, the shit that was mid, as they say
Stepped
nowadays, mid.
on mid.
So yeah, I feel like once they got on top with the plug, once Meech locked in that shit with Loco, he told Terry, that kind of did that with taking over the streets of Detroit. So Heretta, she's gonna definitely try to find a way around that, in my opinion.
No, with Henrietta, yeah, we'll get back to them in a second too, as well. But yeah, bouncing back to Atlanta as well. You brought this up earlier, and I want your full take on this while we're on the spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, but it's Stacks. What's up with Stacks and your take on him?
Man, this episode he kind of looked a little shaky every time he
Shout out
tried to
2 Chains, by the way. Just want to say that. Shout out 2 Chains.
shout out 2 Chainz. I feel like with Stacks, this episode and episode 2, while every time he tried to ask Meech information about the plug, every time he tried to talk to the plug, like he just had this like shaky kind of like sus vibe to him. Like he was trying to get information out of them. Like I feel like he might be trying to hit them, like gain the upper hand on Meech. Maybe because he found out that Meech did all that, selling all the keys to him at a lower price just so he could use his soldiers. Maybe maybe he feels some type of way about that. What do you think?
No, I guess I have to divulge a little bit more into Stacks' character and wait for it to kind of come out. I kind of see where you're going with it. I'm just going. I mean, you could be right in a small instinct of it, but he could also just be like very sus, but a good guy. You never know.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll try to get on Meech's good side, pretending he saved him. You know what I mean? And then try to be shady with him and all.
Literally. Like, that's what I think could happen too, possibly. Because, you know, especially, like, he feels some type of way because he's, like, supplying everyone. They see Meech as the neighborhood hero instead of himself. And the way that Ty probably used to fuck with Meech is probably on a level that Stacks never fucked with Ty, even though that's his nephew.
Oh, exactly. Hi, Washington. And what was it? I got sidetracked for a second. Meech in Atlanta running game. Who was it? Angel, the stripper,
Yep.
like trying to get information. Like Meech just got game. He's got that Riz game. He's Dr. Maurice, basically. He's just rizzing people.
Yeah, you know, Meech, he's really slick with his words, you know. He got a mouthpiece to him. Definitely got a mouthpiece to him, you know. Especially, like, it's been proven in past seasons. Dealt with a lot of relationships, a lot of female relationships.
Nah, Meech knows what's up when it comes to like. It seems like he just never. I mean, obviously he never runs out, but he never runs out of money or like he's worried about.
Never.
That's his all. He's just got money all the time on deck, 24/7 type shit, and it's respectable, commendable. Do your thing, Meech. I applaud you.
Yeah, man, you know, get it while you can, bro. That's what I always say.
And then we'll divert back to the whole drug game that's going on, but let's divert from that for a second. We basically have Detective Brian.
I was just about to tell you about that.
Yeah, Detective Brian. So basically, a quick thing of it. His son was getting bullied in the previous season. Needs to stand up for himself. He took his dad's gun from his safe and used it to shoot. Did he kill the bully? I don't know if he
killed the bully.
He killed the bully. Okay, so he killed the bully last season, and essentially, once killing them, he was being tried. I don't know if it's an adult, kid, whatever, but his dad, being a detective, tried to kind of flex on the situation a little bit, but he couldn't do anything. So his son is basically sent off to prison, or jail, juvie, where he's holding, that kind of thing. And he doesn't have money for a lawyer because I think Brian's suspended from his police duty. Detective Brian's, suspended. So
suspended indefinitely, I believe.
Yep, exactly. I don't know with pay or without, but it sounds like it's without based on this situation. Because as I'm about to say, he goes to a man named Blaze, and I said that with a question mark. I didn't know if I said that right. Blaze. Like, I said an S at the end. Blaze.
Blaze, I believe.
Blaze. I don't know about that. Blaze. Oh, okay. Anyway, Blaze. He goes to Blaze to get money, or at least get work. To get payment for a great lawyer for his son, because earlier he met with Brian met with his ex-wife, who is pissed off at him for not taking care of her son, and he's going to do everything he can, and he's what looks like it comes to appear he's a boss. Blaze is some sort of like not a loan shark, you know what I mean? He's a guy. He operates operation.
Yeah, he was a former cop as well, from what they were saying.
Mm-hmm. And the best part, I think this is where it ties in with Henrietta. Says Brian's leaving after he has an agreement with Blaze to get some money, to do some work. Henrietta comes in, and she's told by Blaze to go give this man some work. Which he says I need you to give work to someone, which we can assume at this point is Brian. We can assume it's him because he's kind of just there to fill in the hole. And Henrietta, I believe earlier when she was talking to Terry, even said something like, "We have a cop on our side" or something like that. You know what I mean? So was she talking about Blaze in that moment? I just want to clarify because I might have.
Do you also know who Blaze is to her?
I want to say her father.
That's her father.
Yeah.
She said, because remember when she walked into the room and she said, "So my father is not gonna let me run this. I thought you would let me run it by now."
Exactly. Okay, for a second, you had me. I thought it was a trick question when I said father. I was like, is it someone else I'm so sick? I know they're in the family. You know what I mean? It's like a family organization type thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's not trying to let her run the whole thing. For some reason, he gave her a crew to venture like around territories, but he hasn't handed her the keys fully,
Not
and
yet.
she's very upset about that.
Right, the keys to the kingdom, and so as that's going down as well, unless I'm forgetting anything else, there was a part where Terry, after Meech gets that plug connection from earlier, Terry is told by Meech that, we got a plug, we're all good to go. Then Terry goes to tell Henrietta, the woman he told that he would allegedly buy the stepped-on keys for 28K each. And he tells her, I'm not buying it from you, got another source, got another plug. And she ain't happy. She's not
Yeah.
happy at all. And
Nah.
you can't, obviously there's going to be a feud, dare I say blood feud between Terry and Henrietta, but is she really going to start a beef over the fact that he chose not to buy from her?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in her mind, in her head, I feel like a deal is a deal, whether you shake hands or not. 28 a key was what they said, even though there was never any paper agreement. She feels like all in all, she got fucked, which I don't blame her for feeling that way, especially since her dad is, holding her hostage in terms of her business. She can't really grow at this point.
She's been held down, yeah.
So I feel like if she wants to grow in that business, she's gonna have to team up with somebody. She's gonna have to make an alliance with someone that's making steady money, making steady business with their investments, with their businesses.
Okay. I mean, I can, just based on how people are introduced, you can kind of get a vibe of how they're going to be treated as characters going forward. You know what I mean? Like Blaze, Henrietta, those kind of characters. I mean, there's only two I just listed, but and Breeze, from earlier, they're probably going to be long-term characters that are going to, I don't want to say challenge another character, but kind of go toe-to-toe with them. So you got Blaze and Brian, Terry and Henrietta, why am I blanking? Nicole and Breeze, and maybe Meech and Angel. So I feel like I think this season's gonna have these pairings, if that makes sense, and we're gonna see a relationship between them. It could be Meech and Loco even, but I don't know. I think the season's gonna be pretty cool. We're gonna have a lot of not a relationship, but you know what I mean. We're gonna see a lot of dynamics between people. I'm sure it's gonna be cool. Terry and Atlanta would be interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Every season of BMF, they always throughout the season, the first few episodes, they usually roll with that dynamic for the rest of the season, which is another good thing. It doesn't throw the viewers off. That way we follow with what's going on every episode. Sometimes they'll have filler episodes. All in all, they try to keep us entertained, which is good. Keeping us entertained with the facts in order. That's always important when watching television shows. You always want to make sure everything's in chronological order, or you know, any way that's easy for you to understand. Because some people, everyone watches shows differently. So, but I feel like the way this show is written is easier for everyone to watch, and it's fun for people to watch too.
Bet. No, and on top of that, I mean, I I don't know. I like shows when they release everything all at once, but I understand like you got to feed the audience slowly. You know what I mean? Don't overfeed us. Don't give us 10 episodes in one drop and then make us wait a whole year. Drop it one at a time and make us think about these episodes as we go, because there's so much to ingest in these kind of shows, bro. Like anything, and most shows on Stars. I mean, not most shows on Stars, I guess, but the shows I've seen lately, at least, they're very like not just watch the next episode at a time, but like very analytical. You have to pay attention to it. You know what I mean? You got to pay attention to every detail. It's like, ugh,
No,
so
that's fact. That's
much.
facts. It's like a lot of detail, a lot of attention to detail for a lot of these shows, which is good because it doesn't keep the viewer bored. Because when we were younger, I feel like the movies and shows we watched didn't require us to use our head as much because we didn't want to hurt our brains, and we didn't really want to use our heads while we watch shows. That's the only in movies. That's probably the only time we felt that we could just freely sit down and just enjoy ourselves. But now it feels like nowadays it's a quiz or like it's a test watching movies and television shows
Oh
nowadays.
my gosh, yeah. Especially when I'm talking with people and like we're like, oh, do you remember that scene in this show or whatever? I'm like, oh, I don't remember. I feel kind of like, oh, did I? You know what I mean? Like how, it's okay to forget things, but at the same time, it's like I kind of feel behind if I don't. Okay, I guess I'll rewatch this episode. Let me go see what I freaking missed all over again.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of information. Like it's easy. It's not. It's like
But they're
I
useful.
know. The more you think about it, the more you watch these shows, the same show over and over again. I understand that it becomes easier, like to know everything that happens in order. Too much information if it's more than one show that you're focusing on, that you're like paying attention to detail for. It's like a lot of information in your head, which is very dangerous at times, but I feel like can be very useful.
No, again, it's little details do matter. Like when it comes to these shows, I mean, they're not. What do they call the term? Red herring? Like when they just put something there just to kind of like distract you, or like it has no meaning. It's just there. I don't like shows that do that, but I mean, I understand. To give element to a scene, but make it make sense and make it a part of the story. Don't introduce characters that don't need to be needed, or introduce characters that are going to be killed in the same episode or the next episode. Give some longevity, and I guess just don't make it harder for us. I don't know.
Yeah, just make it like not have it out there in front of us, easy for us to figure out, but have it like challenge us to challenge us like don't challenge us to disappoint us, like challenge us to like show us something, you know.
Yeah, make it harder for us to understand. Just play the audio backwards. Maybe there's a message in there we're not getting. That's how these shows are usually hiding these hidden messages. They'll put it so detailed in words or detailed in like how a character is acting or a facial reaction that we got to pick up on that. Like, oh, did you see this person's face? They said this and that, or they looked like this, so they're definitely gonna not be happy the next episode. It's like, you got all that from just a hand gesture? What?
Yeah, they do a good job at like having us figure it out with just expressions.
It's just one of those things, 50 Cent, like I said, we said it before, we'll say it again. 50 Cent knows what he's doing, in terms of production, at least.
And writing, all of that. He has all of that in the bag.
Music, he definitely promotes his own music throughout the show, too. I love it.
Every intro to every single one of his shows on Stars, wow, it's all hits.
The man knows what he's doing. All right, cool. Well, as long as that's it, I just want to point out as well, going forward for BMF, like analytics, reviews, that kind of thing, typically it'll just be a weekly thing following the episode's release. And then as well as that, if there's anything outside of that, like analyzing the show or analyzing this series or this actor to this actor, that kind of thing, we'll do that sometime throughout the other days. But just know that typically between the Thursdays and Saturday period, that'll be more of the BMF. I don't want to say BMF hour, but the BMF 3-day period, point, whatever you want to say. But yeah, going forward, just address our socials. It's going to be TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the Spot to Talk. That's THESPOT 2, as in the number 2, and then TALK, with Twitter at the THE__ Spot Podcast. And then, of course, on Spotify. Should be there soon. We're not too sure yet, but it should be on YouTube and SoundCloud at the least. If not, we'll figure that out. But Spotify, the Spot Podcast, all the links will be in the description. Again, I'm your host, Yeezy Yon.
And Mighty Young.
We out. Have a great night, everyone.
Peace.